I said, guys, it's so stupid. Is that really who we are, who you want to be?
If, God forbid, something went wrong and today's your last day, you have to leave one thing of like an information to your daughter that represents everything that you've learned in this lifetime. The most important thing, what would it be?
Enjoy the journey. It comes from deep inside. When I spent time at a cancer hospital with my dad, and at this time my mom unfortunately was also sick, then I took a room there as well because I want to spend the Christmas and New Year's there. And so I played chess with people who then 1 week later I heard they passed away. But the moment I played chess with them, it was like it was our last chess game, your last chess game on earth. My journey starts business-wise when I was 16 years. You know, you had all those domains coming and only had a couple of endings at this time, .com and .de for Germany.
Yeah.
So I registered all those domains, and then I went to a big city in Germany and said, look, I got this domain. And the mayor told me, Michael, I don't believe the internet will survive. I personally sold my shares. The reason why I left is I told my business partner, look, I really want to study. And he said, Michael, we make more money than all the professors out there.
Yeah.
Don't do this. And I said, man, I really want to see how it is to work for one of those big companies.
You started a business at 16 and exited by 21. Were your parents entrepreneurs? Were they working class people? Like, where do you think it all came from?
Not really. It came from a deep desire inside me. When I was 15, I had the chance to go to America for an exchange year. I came into a family, very, very working class, and in my backyard I heard shootings sometimes at night. So it was a rough neighborhood, I would say. It was an awakening. And when I came back, I told myself, look, up to me what I want to do in the world, right? Where I want to live, what I want to do. And I decided to do this.
I imagine that a man like that achieves so much like someone like Elon Musk, it's not like talking to a normal person.
So you think everyone could be an Elon Musk?
Today on Deciding to Thrive, I'm joined by Michael Kloep, co-founder of Kloep, which is a massive international payment system servicing the likes of people like Tony Robbins and many other notable coaches around the world with over 100 staff. This guy has done tens and even hundreds of millions of dollars of business. Is one of your core beliefs for yourself, if you don't evolve, you'll get left behind?
100%.
Yeah.
I think you would die.
Yeah.
And I hope also your listeners, if they take anything away from this talk, please take this away, because I think we do have unlimited potential.
Okay, Michael, great to have you here on the Deciding to Thrive podcast. It's been a long time coming. We finally made it happen.
True.
So look, you are the CEO and co-founder of Kloep.com, which is a global service provider for coaches and content creators. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's like the one-stop ecosystem for the creator economy. Mm-hmm. But I must say, so I'm the CEO of Kloep. Kloep is already, I'm not co-founder there. I'm the CEO there. Mm-hmm. And this takes care of all the payments for the creator economy. So whoever out there has online products, digital products, they want to sell it, that's the place to do it.
Can you just... I'm going to take you back, but just so we've got an idea of where you are today, because I know there's lots of things you're doing, which is a reason why we really wanted you on this podcast. Give me an idea of some of your clients that you guys look after, because they're some of the biggest in the world, correct?
Yes, for sure. We just were talking about Tony Robbins. He did a big event in Germany. Mm-hmm. I personally was there, and the upsells at this event were, for example, running through us, but also lots of other big players in the market, but also lots of small players, those digital entrepreneurs who want to sell digital products or consultancy or also physical products. We just make it super easy, right? So we have a shop function, we have an affiliate function, we have a great dashboard to scale, and that's our purpose, our drive to help those entrepreneurs.
And give me an idea of what kind of size you are in terms of whether it's people, countries you're in, or level of sort of like top line sales that you guys are doing.
Yeah, so we have over 100 people in 16 countries. I used to be very proud of many people. We actually were even way over 140, but with AI, I believe, you don't need so much anymore, even that we really like our team and love them. We are very strong in the German-speaking area. We also in the US, we also in Spain quite strong, and of course also here in Middle East, in Dubai. We also have people on the ground, and we're doing good 9-digit of external revenue.
And what made you, because you personally live in Dubai mainly, correct?
Yes, since 18 years.
18 years, wow.
Yeah.
So, and when did you start, when did you get involved or co-found Cope or Cope Cart?
So Cope Card again was existing, the payment solution. I joined them like 6.5 years. They were already 1.5 years old, and it was all about. They were only in Germany, so I love scaling companies and put them out on the international market. I did this journey with Cope Card, and then later on we realized that we more need a one-stop solution for the entire creator economy. That means not only the payments, but only hosting of video courses, but also tracking the paid advertising, but also being able to have a community and much more. So that is now where Cope.com comes in, the whole holistic. We launched it beginning of this year in Dubai, and it's going great. And we just fine tuning lots of things. We're expecting to have a full new version of the system soon out, and we're excited for it.
Good stuff. So tell me, you're an investor. You've founded other companies, exited. I think you've invested. Give me a little bit of background of like you sort of like it.
My journey starts business-wise when I was 16 years.
Yeah.
So, you had all those domains coming, and, you only had a couple of endings at this time, .com and .de for Germany.
Yeah.
So I registered all those domains, and I realized that lots of cities were also not registered. So I registered the cities, and also some companies, also quite big companies in Germany. And I went to them and said, look, I'm 16 years old. I just found out that this domain is free and I would like to give it to you. And then I went to a big city in Germany and said, look, I got this domain. And the mayor told me, Michael, I don't believe the internet will survive.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay, wow. So now I paid this with my dad's credit card. My dad already said, Michael, you really have to pay me, otherwise you move out. And I said, okay, I have to find a way. And then I also created websites. So I said, look, okay, I understand you don't get it with the domain, but let's create your website. And now you see you have something electronical where everyone in the world can see how your city is, how your company is. And that's how I started then the first business that I later exited regarding registering domain names and also making websites, and later also designing everything what's digital for them.
How old were you when you exited it?
21.
And you were a partner in it, or you just sold the whole thing?
So basically, as I started it, I later on had a partner, and he continued with it. It's now a big marketing agency in Cologne with over 70 people. And I personally sold my share. So basically, he kept 1/3 of the share, 1/3 I sold, and 1/3 I still kept because it was like an automatic business. So I just liked some passive income. And I could afford my studies, because the reason why I left is I told my business partner, look, I really want to study. And he said, Michael, we make more money than all the professors out there.
Yeah.
Don't do this. And I said, man, I really want to see how it is to work for one of those big companies. So man, we are big. We had 35 people at this time. And I said, no, really big. He said, what's big for you? I said, well, Siemens. So I worked for Siemens at this time. They had, I think, like around 400,000 employees worldwide in 190 countries. And then I worked for them a bit.
So I want to ask you. So where in Germany did you grow up?
Close to Cologne, like in the center of Germany.
Okay, so just where the event was. And your parents, were they on? Because obviously, look, you started a business at 16 and exited by 21. This is not standard, not normal 16 and 20, 16-year-olds. And no, by the way, many business owners that do start a business, are successful, struggle to exit. So the fact that you're able to build and exit is incredible. Were your parents entrepreneurs? Were they working class people? Like, where do you think it all came from?
Not really. It came from a deep desire inside me to be able to afford things I couldn't afford at that time.
Right.
So I realized hanging out with friends where the parents were entrepreneurs, that they had the chance to, do a vacation. They had more of nicer cars sometimes. They just had the chance to do more interesting things. And I told myself, well, it's all in me. So I started different businesses.
Where do you think that came from, it's all in me? Did you read books? Did you see something somewhere? Was it just something that you just felt?
Well, at one point, I just stopped blaming somebody else for my results, right? And
this is before 16?
Yeah, that was
Y-
before
yeah.
16.
Yeah, You just decided to take ownership.
Yeah, I must say I had one when I was 15. I had the chance to go to America for an exchange year, and I think that was also quite changing in regards that I came into a family who were very, very working class, and they had like 8 cats, 2 kids, 1 kid's on the way when I was there, 2 dogs. I remember both parents had to work to just make a living. In my backyard, I heard shootings sometimes at night. So it was a rough neighborhood, I would say, and it was an awakening. And when I came back, I told myself, look, up to me what I want to do in the world, right? Where I want to live, what I want to do, and I decided to do this. Yeah,
it's amazing. So it gave you a bit of leverage, what life could be like if you don't move forward.
100%.
You know?
And because I lived during the week at this family, and on the weekend I met another interesting family who loved to have me over, and they said, look, we wanted to have an exchange student like you from Germany, but it didn't work out. You want to come back on the weekend? By accident, I actually met them. And so I had the chance to see how it is on the weekend with these
like
entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
With a family, no shooting in the backyard, amazing food, good conversations, deep conversations, and on the other hand, then the day-to-day hassle.
So going to the US gave you complete contrast of basically being an entrepreneur and having a sort of a nicer life, or not, being a working class person and having a lot of struggles and stuff like that.
I remember my dad, God bless him, he unfortunately passed away. I called them all dads, so I have a lot of dads now.
Yeah.
But this dad, let's say poor dad, rich dad, rich dad, picking me up on a Friday afternoon, and he called me on the phone from his car and said, Michael, I'm outside. And this time phone calls from the car was quite cool and expensive. I said, man, just ring the doorbell. He said, no, I'm too afraid in this neighborhood to go out of the car. I just come over. So I thought, wow, it's interesting what a diverse. And I was walking to school every day, I remember, and I thought it's normal.
I think one of the biggest challenges for people is the environment they grow up in, and they become comfortable to that environment, right? Because they have to survive, so it's normal for them. But you take someone from the outside and you put them into that environment, and instantly, I've now lived in Dubai now for 4 years. I've lived abroad from the UK for 10 years. When I go back to the UK, it occurs different to me to my friends that are living there. That's normal life for them, in terms of the weather, the traffic, everything, just everything. I'm a lot more, my senses are a lot more heightened to it.
I fully understand that. But I think also in today's world, it's about really understanding on a global approach. You have no excuses anymore if you only live in London, or if you only live in Nairobi, or if you only live in San Francisco, because now with online and education, I think there are a lot of things we can do in our own capabilities.
I think we've definitely got access to everything, to information, and look at ChatGPT and it's free, Google, and even Google has its inbuilt AI and stuff like that. So you went in from 16 anyway. You embraced the internet. How many years? What year was this? How many years ago was this?
In 1996 it was,
I remember when we made our first website, and I remember the dial-up and the load.
Yes, the modem, exactly. Yeah, we still know it, but when I talk to younger guys, they have no idea what I'm talking about. But it's really, the internet speed now, having it on a mobile, I think it's just mind-blowing.
Dude, I have an 8-year-old son who expects to go to the TV and swipe and do everything, because everything is touchscreen, So, but you obviously embraced it. You got into technology. By the fact that you knew how to make websites at 16 and you understood domain names and things like this, what sort of took you to technology in the first place? What do you think inspired you to get into technology?
On the one hand, my dad by core has been an electrician, so every Christmas, whatever I wanted to wish for, like a PlayStation or something, I would never get. I only would get a set of electrician tools. Normally some tools, God bless him, who he didn't use anymore, or he wanted to have as well, and we shared it. But it of course helped me to develop this sense for technology. And I don't know, I think it's so super interesting. All this technology, when you come to my home, I love to have my light on and off by voice. toys and all this fancy electric opportunities. I think it's the era we live in right now, especially now, of course, also with AI. So I always stuck to it.
You're quite innovative. You like to get like the newest things and enjoy the newest technology. Yeah?
And like I got a car for my mom, and I put all the electric stuff inside there, right? And she said, Michael, it will be so complicated. And I told her, if you don't now get to know it, you will get lost later on, because it will get more and more difficult then. So use it now. And I'm so happy now she's asking the car about cooking recipes while she's driving. It's actually true. And she shows me new things. Oh, wait, it can tell you actually a joke. And so they have a conversation while she's driving. And I think if you at one time you said, okay, I also actually have on the same street a neighbor who doesn't even have internet or a smartphone.
Right.
And to see those extreme, different types of personalities, I think shows me that it's just important to live with the new technology, because it's better to adopt it instead of to fight against it.
I want to ask you, you said something and your tone changed when you said it. Is one of your core beliefs for yourself, if you don't evolve, you'll get left behind?
100%.
Yeah.
I think you would die.
Yeah. You know what? I asked you that question. The way you said it, you got so much conviction in your voice. I could hear that. It's really it's not everybody's belief, but it's. See, what I'm fascinated about whenever I have people on the podcast,
right.
I'm fascinated what makes their mind work, what makes them think, and I think our lives are shaped by the time we're like sort of 7, 8 years old. There are certain belief systems that we have. Of course, we're going to learn more things, but there's belief systems, and maybe there's something that's inspired this belief in you to push so hard, to keep moving forward, to keep innovating. Yeah,
no, for sure. And as I mentioned earlier, I think it's all in us to do things. And I mean, we are very fortunate, like already, like you grew up in UK, me in Germany. I think that's already a big benefit, compared to the rest of the world, where we should be thankful for. So don't give us excuses. That's my deep belief and mentality.
There's no reason to hold you back. So you exited at 21, you go and study, you get a job at Siemens, right?
Yes. So basically, like just imagine, so I'm going from this crazy a business venture, what was going extremely well. We had venture capitalists wanted to give us money and so on. And I said, guys, if I ever want to have this business again, I just start it again. That was my mental. Looking back, I still have some domain names, what's quite good, but looking back, like pushing that a bit harder, I think it could have been also a quite big business. But nevertheless, yes, I went into Siemens, and on the side I studied. And wherever I went to the companies, I said, look, I'm coming and work, but you have to sign this paper. I said, what's this for a paper? We haven't had that before. I said, well, that I'm allowed to start businesses outside of the office hour.
You told Siemens they have to sign a contract with you.
Yes, exactly.
And you were Harold in this time, 21, 22?
So 19, 18, 19, yes. I remember Siemens saying, look, we know you're an entrepreneur by heart. They told me, because they said, and we don't believe you will stay with us. But we would really need an intrapreneur, somebody in our company who pushes innovation, is a little bit the rebel in our company. And I said, I can do that. I take the challenge. And so they signed the paper that I was able to work outside the office hours, outside of the portfolio, what they offer, to start and continue having own companies.
Okay.
Any company I worked for, that was the condition.
Okay.
Because I always wanted to do some online businesses, invest, advise.
So you didn't necessarily know what you wanted to do, but you just wanted to have the freedom to be able to do it. Is that correct? Yeah.
I think exactly. I think you never really know what you want to do, and people talk about passion and other things. But I think at one point you need to try things, and then you see if you like it or not.
Yeah.
Right. Like a sport, right?
Yeah.
You're very sporty, so we sometimes don't know what we really like till we try it.
Yeah, totally. So I'm curious to know, you've gone from being the founder and owner of the business to now being one of 400,000 employees. So what was that like in a bigger company? I mean, how did you feel? How did you feel they treated you? How did you feel like, the resources are different? How did, I'm guessing your role was more constrained. So, so how was that? What was the experience like?
That's a good question. Just imagine, we had like, when I wanted to travel, when I wanted to do anything, we just could do it. We took the credit card and that it. With Siemens, you had to fill out some documents before you travel, before you pay for a taxi, before you take people out for dinner.
For any
so
expenses,
it was like a governmental organization, and I still love the company. But I tell you, me being there was like, I said, wow, guys, are you serious about it? Because this will take me like 60, 70%, and I only have 30% time for the customer. So what do we really want to do? But then I think they realized to put me in different positions. One was to open up new business units, to be on like an innovator hub or like an innovation team to do this. And there was like, it was called Siemens Management Consulting. So it was like a consultancy within Siemens for internal company, for the internal company, but also for external. So I did this, and then I worked also at Daimler Chrysler and at the German bank, Deutsche Bank.
Look, you're already in this time standing out as a young early 20s. For a big company to give you so much respect is crazy. I think my belief now about a company like Siemens, if they're employing someone in their early 20s, that guy's going to be like an assistant or like making the tea or the coffee. He's not going to have a say in they should sign a contract with him. So they must have really identified a talent in you to start with.
Yeah, probably. I also would have done the coffee and the copies or whatever, but I would have done something more normally. That means like I would do the copy, but I would also read what I copy, and I would also make some red marks on it. I said, guys,
right. So you've been someone who always gives more, pushes more. You're always pushing yourself. You don't just accept it. You kind of want to push the boundaries.
I think for me it was a bit more like this first principle approach when I just used common sense. So they took me in one project how to double the revenue in one region, actually Middle East at this time for Siemens. It was called Push Middle East, Push Me. And it was just first principle thinking, like they said, okay, let's exchange all laptops later. I remember. So they were like all in a meeting and said, yes, we just should, every employee now keeps the laptop 2 years longer.
Right.
And everybody said, yes, we save so much money. And it looked all good on Excel. I said, guys, it's so stupid. I said, it's really stupid. Just imagine you have to work with an old PC, and at this time the speed was like everything. Crazy, so everybody has to wait like, I don't know, 30 minutes or 1 hour longer per day just to work. Is that really who we are, who you want to be? And it was just some of those first principle approaches and those ideas I think I could support or push from my understanding. I think that changed, and I think that's also still important today to question about what is really the outcome,
the real cost.
Yeah, the real cost.
It said the other way. I don't know if it was Jim Rohn who said, "How much does your TV cost you?"
Exactly.
It's not how much you pay for it; it's True. The distraction and everything.
100%. I fully agree. Yeah.
So okay, so you get to Siemens. You stayed at Siemens for how long? For a few years? Or?
Yeah. So basically, I finished my studies. That was like 4 years, so I did it in parallel. We called it dual, but I did it then I had to go to studies to Berlin, and during my semester free time I then worked at Siemens, and then later I worked full-time at Siemens for another 4 years, so in total I was probably there 8 years. And then I had my marketing agency on the side, and people always said I wanted to do also an event in Dubai, and I always was pitching them the so-called Burj Al Arab.
Were you living in Dubai at this time?
No. So I was just. I just thought it's such an interesting place for entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And so I said...
This is like 20 years ago.
Yeah, 20.
I mean, what we see as Dubai today as probably one of the pinnacle places for entrepreneurs today. It definitely wasn't 20 years. I remember coming here like maybe 18 years ago.
True.
When you'd come out of some of the main hotels by the Burj Al Arab, there was only sand. There was nothing built up. There was no downtown. There was no creek. There was, it was a fraction of what it is. Most of Dubai, maybe 80% has been built in the last 20 years.
100%. Yeah, I think whatever you see out there, and it's by far not ready. So one good local friend, he just had the chance to meet His Highness, the ruler of Dubai, and I said, "How was it? I mean, did you ask about the past, like how interesting it was, the journey? What you're asking?" And he said, "Michael, no, you don't understand." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, No, he only talked about the future.
Yeah.
He said, Michael, this is like 5 or 10%. What's the plan? What he and they want to build? And I thought that's interesting. Yeah.
I mean, listen, for me, I would say that Sheikh Mohammed, the ruler of Dubai, is probably one of the, if not the most visionary and most exemplary leaders of our time. You know, like previously you had Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, some people. But I think today, when you look at, you know, when his time eventually passes, he's going to be remembered. What he's been able to show, and the Middle East, all the GCC countries are copying what Dubai has done. He's literally made the impossible possible. You know, we have an expression in the UK, you can't build on sand.
Yeah,
you know?
true.
And he's building on sand.
Yeah,
true.
Exactly.
You know?
Look, I think it's, for sure. You're right. I think every country around Dubai will has their own DNA, and they have also chances in different areas, but there always will be only one Dubai. So it's never good to copy. It's always good to lead.
But
in
they're
one
definitely
area.
inspired. I think without him doing what they've done here, the other countries, surrounding countries, would not have necessarily been opened to this kind of change and transition. So it's, you know, I don't think they're going to carbon copy, but I think they'll definitely.
It's a role model.
It's a model. Yeah, it's a model. But he was the first to do it. You know, there was a story I was told a long time ago. I think it was Roger Bannister who ran the 4 Minute Mile.
Yes.
And you know, no one had done it, and many people had tried. And the minute he did it, within a few months, loads of people have done it, right? It's the same thing to buy. Like the ruler's shown what's possible. It's difficult for the first one to do it.
100%.
And I imagine that a man like that achieves so much like someone like Elon Musk, it's not like talking to a normal person. Their mind is programmed in such a way they don't have time for problems. They don't have time for it's just only forward and winning and, you know, big vision. You know?
Yes, true. So you think everyone could be an Elon Musk, for example?
No, I definitely don't think that. No, but what I'm saying is anyone who's had that level of success, for what it takes, look, you become the man.
Yeah.
It takes a person to achieve those
100%.
things. And once that person achieves, they're no longer like a normal person.
Yeah.
They're not, normal is probably the wrong word, but I mean like what you said, like what your friend said, the Sheikh doesn't talk about the past. He's only looking forward. He hasn't got time to focus on where it's only. It's only what do we need to do to get there, because you can't. You know.
I fully agree, but I think also we all not really normal, right? So yes, we talk sometimes about mainstream or but I think again it's I think every person out there has so much capabilities inside them to make use
unlimited
of it.
potential.
Unlimited potential.
Yeah.
And I hope also your listeners if they take anything away from this talk, please take this away, because I think we do have unlimited potential in each one of us, and it's just up to us what we want to do with it.
Dan here from Deciding to Thrive. Sorry to interrupt the podcast, but I want to make sure if you're enjoying it, don't forget to like and subscribe so we can let you know the next time we put the next episode out. Let's go and keep watching. What do you think? So on that note, what do you think unlocked your potential to start your, because again, like, I think your journey is really amazing. I think you've achieved a lot, and we're going to get to some more of that. But what do you, again, I think it starts in the early years, because it can come at any time, I suppose, but something needs to be an impetus to unlock the potential. So was it, for you said it was maybe like when you was at the house in the US and you saw what that lifestyle was. But you might say, okay, I don't want this, and I want that instead. I don't want the shootings in the back, in the neighbor by the neighbors, right, in the garden, right, and I want this more nicer lifestyle. But what unlocked your potential, do you think, to believe in yourself? Because listen, as an entrepreneur starting, it's difficult. As a 16-year-old entrepreneur, people are going to laugh at you, not take you seriously, right?
Big time. Yeah, I had that all over, and it sounds now good looking back. In the moment, it was tough. It was really tough.
So what
people
kept you
don't
going?
take you seriously.
Where did you have the self-belief?
My dad drove me because I also was selling phones at one point. So basically, we started to have those mobile phones. We had T-Mobile, Nokia phones. I hope you still remember that. And you have one Nokia you could even 91.
The slide one, the Matrix.
So basically, it was also the hype. Then me having, we called it a new tech company.
Yeah.
And then I see, okay, those buy internet websites from us, let's also sell them on the phone. So I sold also them phone, and I had to go to this phone company, and my dad was driving there, and the guys took us not serious. But then my dad was driving us there, and he was sitting in a car and reading a newspaper, and they said, oh, you drivers out there. It was my dad.
Yeah.
Bless him, it was so funny. From this moment, this guy took me serious. I remember that.
Really?
That was indeed, because before they were just laughing about me. But then when I came and said, okay, I don't know, we buy thousands of phones, then they realized, okay, this guy is serious. Because I didn't were 18 at this time, right? That's why I didn't have my driver license in Germany. You have to be 18. And also my dad had to sign for me certain papers. But long story short, so looking back, it sounds, you can connect the dots. Steve Jobs said it, God bless him. Looking forward, you sometimes can't. But one thing what you can do looking forward is you could look forward what you might regret what you wouldn't have done.
Yeah.
And that, I think I'm very blessed to realize it quite early.
Yeah.
So I would have regret at this time not doing this business. I said, okay, what can I do now? I can now play with my friends and do other stupid things, or I can change a little bit my life around me and start gaining like business ideas, capabilities, and knowledge. And I enjoyed doing it.
I love it. So, okay, so these guys wanted to do an event in Dubai. You thought it'd be an interesting place.
Yeah, so I pitched all companies all around to do an event in Dubai. And at the end, it turned out to be Siemens again, who then did, I think, 150 years of Siemens in Dubai. And after that, I had 2 more clients because I kept this online internet marketing agency in Germany. I still kept it a bit, and I worked on project base for specific projects.
And is that what brought you to move to Dubai from this point? Or?
Later, I stayed there because then Siemens also said, Michael, would you be willing to live here and open up the Middle East and Africa region, because they have different business units, and we wanted to open up different business units in different countries. So I had to do something called due diligence in different countries. You go to a country, you see, okay, who could be a good partner, because normally a 51% local partner and the rest was in Siemens. Used to be this way. So I had to go around, and it turned out, I think, for Siemens at the end, I worked in 56 countries.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Middle East,
so
Africa,
you left
Asia.
Siemens and went back again?
Yeah, so I left it for a while, went to Daimler Chrysler, went to German Bank, went back to Siemens. And after Siemens, I had a special contract with Siemens, as you know. I was the guy making the contract, say, we're not used to it. And I said, good guys, I don't believe in this model, always have to come to work. I'm thankful that I can do my other business on the evening and on the side. But I just don't want to come to the office anymore. I said, no. But I said, look, in Dubai it was very much traffic at this time. I said, look, I lose so much time in traffic. It's not me. If you want me to stay, we need to find a way I can work from home. They said, nobody in the whole of Siemens at this time ever is working from home. Remote work,
didn't exist.
So I said, no, this is what it will be. And then I got a contract. I made it that I was allowed to work from home. They put me on a sales contract. I was not in sales at this time, but that was the only option to do it. And it was quite good for a year, 2 years. And then by accident, I ended up by a small medium enterprise company.
What do you mean by accident you end up in this one?
A cousin of mine needed an English CV, and he said, Michael, you're in Dubai, I need just a CV in English, just send it over. And I said, okay, I send it over to you, and then fill in your name, but don't share it with anyone. And it ended up at the company, and then they hired me because my cousin didn't want to come because his girlfriend didn't want to come to Dubai. And then I actually ended up, and I had to take the interview. Said, Michael, I cannot cancel them anymore. Just go there, ask crazy amount of money or whatever you want to do. So I went, I did this, and they offered me the job. And I worked for them for another 3 years. 76 countries I was in charge.
Wow. I want to understand something, but you spoke about working from home,
yes.
Right? I teach a lot of leadership and systemization, helping business scale. And for me, the number one factor is always KPIs. Like, right. I think it's so much more relevant than the time it takes. So I'm a big believer in KPIs. Do the KPIs I need inside 2 hours. You can have the rest of the day off. I don't care. The point is, you can have someone work all hours and not achieve anything.
I agree.
You know, so
Yes.
and it's interesting that you said they put it down as like a sales contract, because for me growing up, only sales received commissions, but actually
True.
what I teach is to incentivize people for delivering KPIs, because then you get a really good employee.
We
right?
have it in
You-
our company too, 100%.
I think any successful company really embraces
balanced
this. But,
scorecards on
Yeah.
OJK, also, so we always for sure.
but again, you have a very good sized company. Many other entrepreneurs that are SME, small medium sized enterprises, don't understand that. They only understand how to drive forward and recruit. I don't think it's something that is very well understood by the business world. Successful companies and high performing companies, for sure, it's like a recipe. But I want to understand something. You come into Siemens as a young guy. What was the first job at 21 or 22, whatever you took at Siemens? What was your first job role in Siemens? What was it?
Process optimization.
So they already saw you as somebody that could optimize things, which already gave you a level of like a higher level. And do you deal with Siemens at
No, but I must say, look, I started also in copying things or bringing coffee or whatever. So I was then kind of the assistant to one of the project lead.
Yeah.
And but then everyone young out there want to motivate, just show a bit more. So I did the extra mile. I was be able to stay until 9 or 10 o'clock in the office. I didn't have a family, so I didn't mind. And developing new approaches.
Yeah.
And it went so far that when the project lead became sick, that I just took over the project at one point.
Got you.
Yeah.
You were already prepared anyway. When you were staying at like 9, 10, was the project lead staying there as well, or were you outstaying him? Like, I'm just curious, because I think in big organizations, like there's a thing being said where like the senior person doesn't want you to overshadow them, you know, because they're aware that you know.
No, I think I didn't mind to overshadow them, but you know what I always didn't do is I never wanted to show off. That means even if I did some work, I was willing to give it to him and he can write his name on it. No problem.
Right.
And looking back, it always turned out that people at the end knew who did the work, right?
Yeah.
So, but I never ever minded to do that. So if I worked for somebody, I want to make him successful. I was all in. And also if I worked for other companies, I wanted to have this company fully successful.
I think, you know, you run a big business now with many staff and etc. And you've had a lot of experience.
Yes.
You can see the energy in somebody, even if their name's not on the
100%.
paper. You know who's doing what. You know, we see it. You know?
And also when something is wrong, I mean, now today as a CEO or manager, if something goes wrong, it's my fault. It's my fault. But if you do something good, you should be able to pass it on to your colleague. And I think that was the approach what I learned from the best managers and leaders I had in time, and I try to be the same way.
Yeah. And okay, so you set up all this stuff with Siemens here because you've gone on to build other businesses. So where's the transition come? And you invest in tech and AI, and I mean this is obviously a clear passion for you. Like, and it's like
so again on the side, I always were like developing some online businesses and e-commerce shops and tools. Some worked, some didn't work. Lots of also didn't work. Some worked, give me some passive income. But I always been able to start to invest in some companies as well. Invest sounds like small tickets at this time. Then later on, when I worked for the other company for 3 years, small, medium enterprises, I thought, wow, I have now experienced the whole thing. So basically, I worked for a startup. I worked for 3 of the top 500 companies in the world, Siemens, Deutsche Bank, Daimler Chrysler. Now I work for a small, medium enterprise. And now it's time to go.
Right. Okay. So you felt like you got all the experience.
Yeah. So I said, look, now, like, wow, like, you know, you learned this basically. How are the processes? How do they set targets? How do they build culture? How do they do what really matters? How do they have the customer focus? And then, unfortunately, I got blessing. My dad passed away. And it was a time where I'm very thankful for, because we had a good time with my dad. The doctor says he has 2 weeks to live, and those 2 weeks were 2 years. Amazing. But I took a much time off, and we spent so much quality time. I did have to sleep in hospitals and all that stuff, but I just spent a lot of time there.
Were you financially well established in this moment?
Yeah, I was okay.
Yeah.
Come to Dubai and you always feel poor.
Yeah.
But if you have the understanding what you really need in life, And I do a trip once a year normally to a third world country or developing country and help there and do something there. And this week helps me personally a lot to ground myself and understand what really matters. So I didn't need much, but I was okay, to be fair. And long story short, and then my dad passed away, God bless him. And then I took 9 months off. All my businesses were on autopilot, and I traveled the world. And then I traveled the world. Are
you on your own or married or was?
No, I was on my own, not married. And I did whatever I could. I wanted to do. So I asked a friend, "Hey, you want to do cruise in Bahamas?" Okay, he has vacation 2 weeks. Another guy said, "Okay, we drive to Harley Davidson Route 66. Okay, let's do this. Okay, do this one." And then there at the end, I did something. A long walk in Europe.
Spain?
Yes, in Spain. Campus.
Del Santiago?
Yeah, Santiago. We say the Jakobsweg. Yeah. What is it? It's also a movie about it. The walk.
Camino de Santiago.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. So I said to come down from all this craziness. I just want to walk and find myself. I'm also a Christian, but it was just more also about the experience. I said, okay, let's do this. So I walked and walked and walked, and I had met so many students and young people who asked me about business. I said, why do they always ask me? I said, why is McDonald's so successful? I said, well, did you know McDonald's business model is actually real estate? Yeah. Now with the movie, everybody knew, but at this time I was quite a king telling them the story behind it. Yeah. And then I said, but did you ever thought about why Starbucks can charge so much for the coffee and McDonald's only so little? So in what business is Starbucks? Oh, interesting. Yeah. And why is Harley Davidson so successful, having the oldest motorbikes, loud, lots of fuel compared now to Yamaha, and nobody wants exchange? They're in a community business because they give you a community approach. When you buy a Harley, you can join certain trips and so on. So I went through all this, and they all asked me about all kinds of business topics, and I just loved talking about it while I walked. And I met always different people, and somehow they always ended talking about it. And long story short, I said maybe I want to work as a professor. So I ended up. I sent one email out, and I got the back. When can we talk? And I talked, and I worked here at the biggest private university in Dubai as a professor of entrepreneurship for 6 years.
Amazing.
I said, I have one condition. I can start and build and invest in companies on the side.
On the side, sign a contract.
This is a contract. That's what I said. Okay, we didn't have that, but but remember, you have 12 hours of teaching every week. I said, 12 hours? What do I do on Tuesday? I said, guys, are you serious? I said, no, but it's a lot. Don't underestimate, Michael. Yeah. And it was tough for the first year, but once you have always the slides, the documents.
It's like systems. Once you have systems in place, you systemize it.
And I love making systems. I mean, that's a German in me, So I made it very structured, and I took always fresh approaches that the students always like to work. Also. And I said, look, I do this professorship, but one more condition. You said, one more condition. You want more money. We cannot pay. I said, no, money is fine. I didn't care so much actually about it. I said, but I want to start an institute for entrepreneurs. That means every student who wants to build a business can come to me, whether they're at our campus, and it was the biggest campus at this time, or at a different campus. And he said, actually, I was thinking about it already a long time as well to offer something like that. Let's do this. And so, during the time, I had the chance to have, 4 business pitches almost sometimes every day.
Really?
Where students came, pitched me ideas.
So do you venture capital? Or?
Yes, and some I joined. Some I helped to just writing the business plan. They wanted to give me equity. One actually makes now over 100 million dirhams here in Dubai. I'm very proud. I wrote the business plan. The guy is still texted me, thank you so much, Michael. But for me, it was not about
The money.
the money. It was more about enabling creation of building meaningful and sustainable businesses that shape our future. And I love to do that. So I did this, and one of the last businesses somebody approached me. Well, I built also a software business before. It was quite successful actually. Was also sold now into Saudi Arabia. But then Kloep came to me as well, one of the founders, and said, look, can you not imagine working with us? And I said, I'm not sure. But then I looked at some more potential, and I said, okay, if we can internationalize it and we can really scale it, I think I like to do this. And so I joined, and after some time I told at the professor job, sorry, this is actually too much. And at this time, the university also gave me in the charge of the MBA, Master Business Administration, right? And if you're in charge of it, you also are in charge of the professors. And I could handle 450 students each semester. I could do this easily. It was fine. But managing then 40, 50 professors as well is a true challenge. And I loved my colleagues, but I tell you, it's like,
Why? Because they're strong in like ego and beliefs or
Yeah, so I remember, so people told me, okay, Thursday I cannot teach, it's my research time. No, Friday I only can do from this time to this time. Oh no, I only need this subject because I'm just writing the book and I'm doing so it was just getting very complex. And I just wanted to have it easy and not have so much administration work, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. So I want to ask you a couple of things. How did Kloep find you?
I think people know my name in the market from the industry, and that's also, I think, the best hint I can give to anyone listening. The best CV is if you don't have to send any CV. If people approach you and say, "Hey, I admire what you maybe already did," or just the energy you bring to the table, or the motivation.
I want to ask you, what's life about for you? Like, what's like the meaning? Like, where's the end goal? Where do you know, like, I'm being successful, or I'm living my true purpose, or I'm living my true life? What does that look like for you?
Me in 10 years. So I think you should never like have a goal that you can really reach, because after that it can only be death. So if it's like, if you need to have a certain goal to be happy, you really should think about why can you not reach it already today and be happy. And it only takes a second to make the decision to be happy.
So when you say you in 10 years, you mean you're going to strive always forward to like achieving a lot more. But what I mean, and I was going to say this before, like how old are you now, Michael?
46.
46, right? I know you got a six pack. You're in great physical health condition, right? So you clearly, in fact, we'll come back to the life thing. Do you feel that fitness, being fit, have you always been fit, by the way? Or is it something that you've changed recently, or?
No, I wasn't like always perfect fit, but in the last 10, 20 years, I would say yes.
Yeah. Have you ever competed in any sports or athletics?
No, because that would take my focus away from my business.
Right. But you've decided to strive for, do you think that being in like a peak fitness shape that you're in has an impact on you in business?
How you do one thing is how you do everything. I think that's a business card you carry around.
Yeah.
That's who you are, who you want to be.
Yeah.
And yes, there are exceptions, I must say. Health-wise, certain people don't have maybe the certain options to do. But don't give us too much excuses as well, right?
You definitely don't like the excuses.
No, you hear it. It's deep inside me. I have people in the gym where I work out regularly who give me gifts often. And I said, look, we don't know each other. I said, well, I'll see you every morning and you inspire me so deeply. Because when I go in the gym, I work out. I'm not there to chit-chat. I'm not there to check my emails. I'm not there. And that is just like the focus you are. And if I fly, I also had the same when I flew in a plane and said, sorry, I saw you. I need to tell you how structured you are. Like, make use of your time given. And use can also be watching a movie. It can also be enjoying
what
the
you
time
choose
with
it to be,
the thing. But it's
basically.
what you choose it to be.
Yeah.
So don't like be this Netflix junkie to say, okay, let's see whatever comes now my way. I think life is too precious for that.
That's amazing. And okay, so you said you in 10 years from now, but what is that you're married right now?
Yes, I'm married, have a 4-year-old daughter.
Amazing.
And we have a wonderful home. I love it. So
you expect to have more kids, or is it just going to be the one? What's your thought?
Let's see. My wife wants to have more kids. I'm fine with one. So let's see who wins.
Okay. And so let's fast forward 10 years. If life is about 10 years from now, what is it that you want to achieve, have a legacy of? What would you be doing 10 years from now? Just give me some insights into what
I
you
think
see.
we human are built to grow every time a bit bigger. So as soon as we have a personal development, or as soon as we give something back, I think those combinations are for sure the key to happiness. So giving something to somebody, helping, enabling other people, and also growing to build something meaningful and to learn something.
You've just come back from a Tony Robbins event, right?
Yes. So it's deep inside.
And there's 6 human needs.
Yes.
And growing and giving, basically growth and contribution is the top 2.
I couldn't join the entire event, unfortunately, because our company was managing the payments there, so sometimes had to go out and in. But I talked to the CFO and I said I will join one time the whole thing. They invited me again to watch it, and I think what I heard the parts, and I also heard this section. I think it's deeply important for everyone, but. It was already in me kind of before that I realized that this is something I really want to do. So, for example, giving back makes you way more happier than when you receive something. So there's a study from Harvard Business School where they said, okay, from 1,000 people we put into a room and everybody got $100. Yeah, I wasn't sure the amount, maybe it's 200, but they got $100. And then they split it up. 50% said for those $100 you can buy something for yourself. Oh, perfect. And the other 50, you can buy something for somebody else. After 3 weeks, they all came together. The ones who bought something for themselves hardly could remember what they actually bought. The $100 was gone. I don't know, was it now dinner? Was it? They didn't remember fully. The other 50%, every single one remembered exactly what they gave for, and the happiness level when they measured this is much higher. Higher.
Amazing. And so look, you've had like a big journey and there's been a lot of success. Give me some, look, I know the path of an entrepreneur.
Right.
I know the path, the underlying of every story of success is the hero's journey. Are you familiar with the hero's journey? Yeah,
Look, as an entrepreneur, again, it sounds now all great. I probably, people say this is like the born CEO or entrepreneur. It has lots of ups and downs.
Yeah, and I want to talk to you about some of the downs. Give me some of the real low points that you experienced and how you were able to turn it around and recover from these points.
Every problem or challenge in our company, I said we don't have problems, we have challenge. This changing already the mindset. Challenge can be have solution. Was at one point, every problem at one point was very small. And you or we were stupid enough not to take action when the flame was small. Yeah. So we let this flame, this problem, this challenge became big. So that's one of my attitude. Start early before.
Do you have a way of doing that? How do you identify if a problem is small and it's going to grow?
I think that is, on the one hand, experience, on the other one, also common sense. Certain things, when you see there's a lawsuit against your company, can it be duplicated? Can do it? Can the media jump on it? And so on. So there are certain things, I think, with that regard. Yeah. And by the way, when I traveled the world to this 9 months, I ask everyone what makes you happy. So just imagine, I don't know, I traveled about 60, 70 countries, and lots of were next to each other, and maybe when I add the states as well. But one interesting part was they always said living in a moment right now. So now, as an entrepreneur, I learned that even if you have a challenge today, enjoy it. And my guy said, Michael, what's wrong with you? It's like the biggest problem we ever have right now. You're stupid. Now having this positive attitude. But I tell you, first of all, with a positive attitude, you can solve issues easier on the one hand. On the other hand, looking back in 1 year, I tell them, this challenge or problem we have today, you wish you would have such a small challenge or problem again. So better enjoy it today. Yeah. So that is now about my attitude regarding your questions when we have a challenge. Yeah.
You know, I had a mentor in my business. I was very fortunate. So my life changed. I mean, I had success from a young age, from like 17, 18, similar to, not exactly,
yes,
I didn't go and
nice.
work with a big company, but I had my own business, and it was very profitable. I used to run nightclubs with celebrities, and
amazing.
I was very popular. I moved 5,000 people a week out to different clubs. But anyway, fast forward to my early 30s was when I was really taught properly about business, where I really had mentors. I never really had mentors before then.
Right.
And my mentor taught me, the bigger the challenge, the bigger the check.
Yes.
The bigger the challenge, on the other side of that challenge is a bigger check. And
Yes.
it's like what you're saying, a few years, like 1 year from now, you're going to be dealing with a bigger challenge because we're going to be a bigger company.
Sure.
You know. And also, listen, the only people that don't have problems or challenges are dead people. So,
Right.
so problems and challenges are a sign of life. You
Right.
know? And I think as men, it's interesting. Well, I say as men, there's a lot of very successful women, but I think definitely as a man, inherently, we're problem solvers. We'd be. What would we do if you know, like we were talking before? I don't know if it was before we started the actual podcast that we spoke about a guy that exited a business,
right?
And he said it was the worst day of his life because he was just bored with nothing to
100%.
do. You know, like we need that challenge to be hungry. You know,
and I think he also sold it to the wrong company, so he sold his values. So I think you need to stick to your values, to your core, and make the decision with the best conscious and knowledge you have at this moment. Yeah, and then I think certain problems or stress cannot develop so much.
Right.
Do it make sense? So
Yeah.
sometimes we just put ourselves into the situation, and again, the business doesn't always is successful. Let's also face it. You know about the rates also of failures of successful entrepreneurs. Also, how many businesses I started and then we probably exited too early, or we didn't use the full potential. But I think again, it's a learning journal.
You know, you took 9 months off of and you traveled, and
Yes.
I mean, this, I think, to have a life experience. I think my philosophy about life is it's a journey. We're born and then we die, and everything in between it's an experience, good, bad, or indifferent.
Sure.
It's just an experience, right? I think to have 9 months and to travel and to do the things you've done. I mean, I've not done something exactly. I've traveled throughout my life, but not to this extent and done these things. I listen to you, and it actually inspires me to want to go to Spain and do something like this, right? But what I want to ask you is, you're in a financially strong position to do that. Not everybody is. Would you encourage that now? You look back, you're 46. You've had a varied life. Would you? For people listening, would you tell them, hey, if they're 20, should they, or if they've got money or haven't got money, should they do something like this? Is it something, or do you think they should start and focus on build a business more? Do you think they should go and have these experiences and then come back?
When I traveled, I had all kinds of travel. I had some luxury traveled and also some very poor. For example, Puerto Rico, I sold sandwiches at a sandwich shop at the corner because I met this the lady. I bought a sandwich myself, and I said, "Look, I will work here one day for free." And Puerto Rico said, "No, not free. No, what's going on? Something is wrong with this German guy." I said, "No, you go, enjoy. I work. No, you will steal the money." But then she realized I was serious, and I just wanted to do it because I want to have the interaction with the people there, right?
Yeah.
It was super interesting.
Yeah.
And a week before, I was sleeping almost at the street when you go to when I was in Thailand. It doesn't cost much, so it's actually quite cheap. And when people said, "Oh yeah, you can come by," I actually was serious, and I actually came by. And when you think about your context you might have, where people said you come by, so I had a friend who has a villa in Cannes. And I met like billionaires and also very poor people living on the street. And the billionaire, I remember when I visited him, he said, "Yeah, here I got champagne, but I have my phone on my ear. I just on the call. Cheers." And I said, "Man, you need to learn how to live in the moment." And I realized that you don't need much to be happy, but also sometimes not to travel, because yes, it was with trains you could travel cheap. Where was it? I think in Sri Lanka. I took a train. That's an experience, I tell you this, but it worked. It brought me from A to B, and it was also safe. So yeah.
So you would say, but what I'm saying, would you advise someone now to, like, that maybe doesn't have the money, to stay more focused on growing a business first, or to travel first? Is the life experience?
I think work experience.
The work experience.
Don't be afraid to work.
Right. So start the work and then make the money and then go and have the experiences.
Yes, I mean, work is experience as well. I mean, again, when I worked now for Siemens and I was in charge with 56 countries, it was a lot of travel, right? And later on also I traveled to Yemen, I traveled to Iraq, I traveled to Syria, I traveled to all fun places you can imagine, and it was a true experience. To Pakistan, to India, that was all travel by companies.
Right, so you can do it that way as well. I think, listening to you, when I speak to people, I love, like I told you, I'd like to hear the mindset, what's going on. And I don't know if everyone else can hear it, but things that are screaming out to me from you, about you, is your curiosity and playfulness.
True.
And it's quite funny. You came in and you were cracking some jokes when you first came in and playing around and telling us about your great sex life and all of this stuff. And you've got this playfulness, and I'm hearing curiosity. I want to see what it's like to do this. I want to see what it's like to do that. And this, I think, opens up the chance to experience new things. It's like, I think if we ate the same food every day,
absolutely,
we'd be bored, right? So you have to try all the different things and enjoy.
100%. With the sex life, to make this just clear for the audience, how did we end up there? So basically, it's not that as soon as the camera's off, I'm talking about sex life. I was invited to another podcast.
It's the German in you, by the way.
Yeah, in German, exactly. And the first question was, how is your sex life? It was quite interesting. So I think they got a lot of clicks. But yes, you're right. I think it is a bit of a game, this life, and it's a journey, and it's about enjoying the journey, and doing it positively and with a smile is a decision. What I believe gives you a better outcome. You understand? So, to just think also about the positive things. And when I talk to people in Germany who were still at the time or just after the Second World War, my mom was saying, look, we were still sitting around the table, even if we didn't have food, and we pretended to eat. And we were still cracking jokes about, during the time, and it's having such a strong attitude that even if times are maybe tough in some eyes, they should not be tough enough to not be able to smile or to laugh, that you're not allowed to laugh or smile about it. Yes, there are tough days and times, and every one of us, I think, goes through this at one point, but I think it's also okay to have it with a positive attitude.
Yeah, also, like you said at the beginning, like you've grown up in Europe, and there's always someone worse off than you, wherever it's bad. You can, if you start in a certain place and then it goes bad and you're one level down or two levels down, you can remember, okay, I was up here, now I'm down here, but also you can look back down and say, hey, I could have been 20 levels down
100%,
in somewhere else,
Look, when I said I go once a year, when I sold my first company, or the customers from the company, because I did an asset deal, I got some money, and what do you do when you are young and get money? You buy a car, what I did, I started a charity foundation. So I wanted to donate the money. And I couldn't find a charity that has zero administration cost, and I didn't want to. Some of them have 30-40% administration. So I give $100, 40% away. So long story short, what does an entrepreneur do? I start my own charity organization.
Fix the problem.
Yes, with zero administration costs. It's called dropsfound.org. And what we do is we just have volunteers for everything. So the tax advisor is a volunteer. The marketing guy who does the website does it voluntary, and so on. So no money with administration involved. Even if you go to the projects, it will be free of charge. For the traveling, you have to pay yourself, and then the money what's collected is for medicine. So we help children and senior citizens who cannot afford education or healthcare.
What's it called?
Drops Found. Drops Foundation.
Drops Foundation.
Yeah.
Drops Found. FOUND.
Yeah.
Drops Found. FOUND.
So why do I say the whole thing? It's because when you talk about also the happiness and the reason, and that is for me, it was such an eye-opener to go to such projects where I say, look, we are so blessed, you know, like I often, when I go to Africa, certain places, we have been now in Tanzania, in different places. Malawi, for example, is a country in Africa, what's one of the poorest countries in the world, but the people are more happier sometimes than I see in Germany. So I said, guys, like when you're in Germany, what's wrong with you? You know, you have running water. They don't have running water. I didn't have running water, electricity for 1 week. First, I thought my life ends, but there I realized it doesn't. Yeah. And knowing that, I think helped me personally a lot for my personal growth.
Yeah. Hi guys, this is Dan. Sorry to disturb the video, but if you're getting some good value from this, and you're someone like I was, and you're going through some sort of stress, you've got struggling with your health, you want to find a way to have more time to spend with your family, or you're struggling to break through the next level of business to get to that 7 and 8 figure income. I want to hear from you. I want to be able to help you. DM the number that's coming up on the screen right now, and you can get to me directly. We'll book a call, and I want to help you with whatever you're going through. Also, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button so you get notified next time we release a video. Now let's get back to the video. I think it's so interesting that I was going to say that when you've gone to all these poorer places, there is a lot more happiness. I spent a lot of time in Fiji.
Nice.
I was.
I've never been there, for example.
So I went to Fiji with Tony Robbins because I traveled with, I traveled with Tony Robbins for like 5 years. I don't know.
Really?
I was a platinum partner with Tony
for like,
which is like top tier. I invested over $1 million with Tony. So, so I've been to Fiji multiple times. And that's, and you know, their whole thing, bulla bulla, like how they are.
Yes.
And any you go to any poor country's village, anywhere, I don't know, it's like there's a much more sense of community, of helping your neighbor.
Yes.
Whereas you come to big cities and everybody's selfish, and not everybody's wrong, everybody, but the culture generally is much more ruthless, cutthroat. Is harder to trust. You know, we lose these values with technology. I think it's very interesting for me that you're so technology and AI focused, and yet you have the balance of all these other the more like poorer countries and charities.
100%, and not using the phone also a certain amount of the day, or at least
you
on
do
the
that.
weekend.
You have that rules for yourself.
When we eat at home, we don't have any phones on the table. So as soon as you come and put your phone on the table and there's lunchtime or dinner, my daughter will come and say $1.
Yeah.
So she has a box where we put $1.
All the guests.
That's it. Perfect. No, but just have so simple rules. Change a lot. But look, when you eat, just enjoy the food, be thankful, grateful for the food. It's healthier for you, and also it gives you a break. I think we human are not made to be 24/7 online.
Yeah. I really admire how you look at all this thing. I think it's brilliant. So tell me now, what are the main things that you're working on now? Like, where is the next 10 years for you? Like, have you got any specific projects, any goals you want to achieve?
So right now we launched the Cope.com, COPE.com, the ecosystem for the creator economy, and all entrepreneurs, we were very desperately to bring it out and show it to the world. But now we're just optimizing the interaction between the different solutions that we provide. So that is now coming out. A lot of AI is in it. Artificial intelligence is such a buzzword right now, but it's such a change as well, right? I think it's like 1996 when I registered the domain names and people ask me, do you think internet will survive? Do you think AI will survive? My answer is yes.
Will AI survive?
Yes.
I think AI is likely to take over. I mean,
exactly.
Look, the world is. I think the future can be positive or it can be negative depending on what you look at, which way you look at. I think that there's definitely some dangers coming up, but I think there's so much innovation. I mean, the world, I think, in the future is going to be very different to the world we know today.
Yeah, but it also was in the past. Don't forget, you're absolutely right. Also, 100 years ago, it was massively differently, right? We were still writing letters, and then later we had a fax machine, right? Where you faxed something and you saw then later we had emails. Then now we have something called WhatsApp, instant message. Then later, so I think yes, you're right. Life will change. Life always changes. And I think it's just so cool to be part of this, right? And to enjoy the journey. And that's what I try to do. Enjoy the technology, but also understanding our human needs to still have strong interaction and talks, relationships with friends and partners, but also other things. Yeah.
So you specialize with the creator economy, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Which is I think a massively exploding niche at the minute.
True.
How do you think AI is going to impact that? Do you think it's going to boost that? I mean, what are the kind of challenges and opportunities that are arising now with AI?
Yeah.
Today, AI influencers now and everything. So
100%. Yeah.
So what's going to happen with creators?
Look, I think today people and creators monetize their reach by creating online courses that you watch, PDF workbooks, building communities because it gives communities are nice. They give a subscription model, so they make permanently money. In the future, it will be more customized AI content. That means that you don't watch all the courses anymore and go through the workbook, that you ask a specific question to a specific challenge you have to get a solution. So it will be way more customized. It will be faster. We do not like to watch. 10 years ago, people still watch 90 minutes or 90 hours of courses. This will not be in the future. It will be 9 seconds of answers to your current challenge.
That's what you see,
So that's what we will have a big shift. One hand. The second thing is that the way we buy things, Jeff Bezos, I tell you to watch out, will change massively. So we won't go to a shop anymore and ask for advice or even go on Amazon. I think it will be more that people buy from people, and we all have certain influencers, creators we follow.
Okay.
I like to go hiking and I needed a new backpack. So I went on my Instagram, who I follow, a guy who always goes hiking, and I like him. I built trust with him already, and he recommended one specific backpack. So I used his affiliate link. Kloep has this too, affiliate link, to buy it, right? And that will be the future, I believe. So in the future,
what about 3D printing?
3D printing is one part of it, but it had a hype. It then also went down again. It does have some limitations, but it definitely will come out. Also, when it comes to food and so on, I think that there will and healthcare for sure. Those two things will be big. Big. Yeah. So healthcare that you can print your own organs and have it on demand. A new heart. You unfortunately had a heart attack, so soon you can print your new heart.
Yeah, I think that with. I don't know how they're going to do it with food. I know they do it with food. I don't know how they do it with food exactly, because you must need some raw materials or something somewhere, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Just instead of the ink, it's basically things that you can eat. Yeah. And then they find certain combinations, and this machine puts it together. And here you go. You also have buildings already here in Dubai that are fully built by 3D. For example, the Museum of the Future is fully built with a 3D printer.
Not the external.
Yes.
The external is built with 3D. I didn't know that.
Yes. 3D printer.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that's what I did. Okay, so
Ask me next time. Just call me up.
yeah. I'm really impressed with your desire to constantly to learn more, to grow, and also what I love whenever I talk to successful entrepreneurs, they remember every statistic in their head, how many countries this, how many people, it's
stuck somehow.
These numbers mean something, with your like charitable side, and again, I've noticed that you're very like you say, you're happy to give away the credits for stuff. You want to help people. You're a very giving person. Do you have any brothers or sisters, or your only child?
One older sister. She's 7. But the charity I do is very selfish.
She's 7 years older?
7 years older, yeah. But the charity I do is very selfish. Because every time I go, I receive more than I ever could give.
Yeah. I think this is true for everybody who experiences these things. Again, I told you, I was with Tony, I was in Africa. We were building, where did we go? It wasn't Tanzania, it was some part of South Africa. The name escapes me. But we were building schools for orphan kids and playing football and again, everybody was so happy. It's crazy.
And you realize how small things matters. That's why the organization I started is called Drops, because I believe every drop matters. Drop by drop by drop fills the glass, fills the ocean. And we built just something in Kenya where we had an orphan school, so for kids who are orphans. And believe me, in Africa, it's even worse to be an orphan. It's already not nice to do it and be an orphan in UK or in Germany, but there it's a total different level. But then giving them the chance, and just one girl wrote me yesterday that she now got a job because we opened up a computer school, so they get a computer certificate and that they learn English. And now with this, she was able to work at a hotel at the reception. And she said, "Thank you so much." Of course, those 2 certificates and the combination of you telling us how important it was how to brush teeth. That's always my part. I always bring everybody toothbrushes. Thank you to all the dentists I visit. That helped us a lot to get a better understanding. And again, it just gives you more back than you ever could give.
I know. So if someone's watching this and they're wanting to embark on a journey of an entrepreneur, what key 3 bits of advice would you give them, do you think, to help their journey? Maybe they're like 16, like you're 20 or something, like maybe they're 25 and stuck,
Yeah, I think on the one hand is to enjoy the journey, for sure. Yeah, I think looking back, you can connect the dots. So don't forget to also enjoy each day that's given to you. Each day is not a ride. It's a gift, and you should live like it. And I think that's important. You just had this experience, right? Having a heart attack. Sometimes don't know if you see your kid again.
Yeah, that was the thing that changed my life, by the way. Because we spoke about this as well before. Yeah. I've always been a relatively fit guy, or definitely the last few decades of my life. Biohacking, doing stuff.
Nice.
I was nearly, the way it happened, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I drove myself to hospital, so it wasn't like, I didn't collapse, and they did the operation. I was out the next day, so it wasn't like a bad operation in that respect. But for me, there was a short period before I was going into surgery where I thought, what if I don't come out? And this is when I started to question, what if I don't see my kid again? What type of man have I been? What have I been a father? How have I set him up for life? Other things as well. And then when I came out of that, I realized that really every day is not just every day, every minute of my time is valuable. Like I could die any time. Like why waste it anywhere I don't want it to be 100%. Wasted,
So I every young person out there can just give one big recommendation is what I do, and I don't film those things because normally it's also not allowed. But I also don't really have attention to do it. Sometimes we go to a children's cancer hospital or to a cancer hospital. It's like also when I went to Sri Lanka and I went to a children's cancer hospital and we spend a day there and just give love. Just spend there and talk to them. Just play with them. Yes, you maybe need to do some health checks before to make sure you don't bring any diseases in and so on. But this will give you different meaning of life. Or alternative, wherever you are, go to an elderly home. I tell you, you can give so much love there and you get so much knowledge there. Unfortunately, sometimes I have the feeling that, also the senior citizen are put aside a little bit, in our society. And I try to do this regularly, which you also go to an elderly home, spend some time there. And you are shocked and amazed what for knowledge and experience you get there and how much love you can give there. And again, you will get always more back as you give.
Do you do this mainly in Germany or in Dubai? They don't really have this in Dubai, right?
They do, wherever possible, right? So look now talking about it again, I think I should do it way more often, but I do it often also in Germany, especially when I have neighbors who now unfortunately already home because they didn't have kids, or the kids do this corporate career and don't have time in their eyes for that. But then at least, even if I can just go there for an hour while I'm visiting my mom and at her home, and then I said, okay, let's go there together myself, I think it gives me a lot. So I try to combine it, but also in Sri Lanka where I don't know anyone. Look, if you say, look, I just have some time here, I would love to visit somebody. Yes, they will look at you strange for the first second, but once they see that you're serious about it, I think it's such a life-changing act, for yourself.
What is, when you do some investing, and you said you were doing some venture capital and things like this, you still do venture capital and private?
Yes.
Yeah. What are important things for you to look at when you're assessing a company, assessing an opportunity?
Same what most people would say, it's people, right? People invest in people.
Right.
Whatever the product they pitch, because I go quite early in, because my tickets are normally small. Yeah. So I don't invest millions in businesses because I would need to raise and also money from my network, and so just something I can control. And again, I think people invest in people. Whatever they have for a product idea, I know it will never be the same when they come out. But what will be the same is the drive those people had at the beginning by finding a product market fit that then scales.
So you're looking for like a hunger and drive in the person.
Yes, so if somebody else, it's hunger and drive, is also discipline. It's not only the motivation, it's also the discipline to get up every morning when you don't feel it. Go to the gym, work out, you also early morning when we met at the gym. I think it's this discipline, because it's those small steps, those 1% each day, what later on brings a big outcome. The Great Wall of China was built by brick by brick by brick.
Love that. And obviously, you're married now. You do a lot of these things. Do you think that does your partner do a lot of the charity stuff with you? Like, how does that dynamic show up with you and your work life? Do you involve your wife with your business stuff?
Yes.
Or you do, yeah?
Yeah, I think it's a work-life integration. It's not possible anymore to say, okay, from 9 to 5, I have now the suit on. After I don't have a suit on, but you understand. So you cannot. It's a work-life integration. When I talk with our US team yesterday, it was at 12 o'clock midnight Dubai time, right? And when I talked to our colleagues in Thailand this morning, it was early morning Dubai time, and I said, sorry, I can only join for breakfast 15 minutes later because this talk is now very important. Also, breakfast is important, but then your partner needs to understand. It's the same also I need to understand for my partner. She also has goals and so on. So with us, we talk regularly, monthly, yearly, quarterly about her goals and my goals.
Oh, so you have that like a system or a ritual that you do?
I'm German. We have systems. Actually, she's from South Africa, so she is actually more German sometimes than me, I have the feeling, in regards to having a structure in place. But don't be afraid about structure and routines. Don't. I tell you also why. Because if you would paint your perfect day, and everybody out there can think about it, you would maybe think, okay, I like computer gaming. But if I would only let you play computer games the whole day, you would not be happy at the end of the day, because you wouldn't eat, you wouldn't have washed yourself, you wouldn't have maybe also checked your financial, and later on have financial trouble because small problems become big, as we mentioned. So I think your perfect day would have certain elements in it. And how cool is it if you can plan your perfect day? But you also can plan your perfect week, your perfect month, your perfect year, your perfect century. And I think that's important. Don't underestimate what you can do in 10 years. We overestimate what we can do in 1 year.
Yeah. I had a mentor that taught me, he used to use a phrase, design your life.
Yes.
And I used to sit there and exactly that, write out my perfect day.
Wow.
I used to think about everything. So what would I do? If I wake up in the morning, what do I do? And I understood I want to go for a run by the beach. I want to wake up and listen to the sea.
Nice.
I want to run by the beach. I want to be able to take my kid to school. I want to be able to do what I want when I want. But then I said, what if I do everything and I don't do anything of like purpose? I understood I want to have some customers. I want to have someone that I talk to, some level of like coaching or something, like maybe 3 or 4 a day, but I want to be able to pick and choose as much or as little as I want. And I understood though, even with all the money and all the time in the world, I would still need to do something, you know, like to be useful, to be, you know, to challenge my mind and just to enjoy having a reason for something, 100%. You know? And so I factored that into like my perfect day, even from the beginning, you know. I think when I was younger, if you told myself, give me all the money in the world and I'm going to have a fun life, you know. And then you realize if you plan a day, it gets boring after a while, you know.
And also for your really fun things, you don't need too much money.
Yeah.
Every watch, every car just makes you temporarily happy. I
think that, you know, that many people are chasing the vision in their head of what they think it's going to be like. But those who have experienced it realize it's fulfilling to a level, you know, for a week or two, and then it's just another thing.
Yeah,
you know?
Of course, it's also easier for us to say we live in Dubai. I know you have a nice home. People say I also have a very nice home. So it's now easy to say maybe, right? But at one point you understand that when it comes to the core, to your really core, you don't need that to be really happy. And you could also do it without. Yeah. And again, I prove it to myself every time when I go now to one of the developing countries. And I can be as happy there as I'm happy in Dubai, and sometimes I'm even way more happier there. I for sure appreciate certain things a lot more.
Yeah, I used to travel a lot to Thailand, and I always, I told you I have business now in Bangkok, but I used to travel to different parts, more like resort type places in Thailand. Yeah, and
which island?
I used to go to Phuket. I went to Koh Samui. And Pattaya. I used to go to Pattaya to a place called Fairtex and do Muay Thai there, just to whenever I wanted to reconnect, and decompress from life, I would take a couple of weeks and go to a training place, and just everything's just easy. And I remember I used to walk in like old shorts and a vest and flip flops and you know, and you just there's just a freedom. In that, which I really enjoy. So look, I like the lavish stuff. I like luxury. I like to fly nice. I like to drive in nice cars. I like to do nice things. But I also appreciate the freedom of not like less material stuff. You know?
True. Yeah. But I think it's probably also because we can now kind of have both worlds, right? But it's again, I think it's important to understand to not chase the wrong things.
Yeah.
And wrong things would be I just start a business to make money.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know. My passion in businesses is always I want to change this industry. I want to like give such a great value add. We want to enable so many entrepreneurs to build meaningful and sustainable businesses and do it with our platforms. That's something why I really love to get up every morning.
Do you think when you have goals and vision outside of yourself and your own personal achievement, that helps you grow bigger business?
Yeah, for sure. I think you have to grow as a person to be able to grow the business to a next level. So sometimes I actually always took myself out of the business. I also have now a phase of it where then I kind of want to develop myself, because you need to be the person and then the business kind of grows, you know, especially when you have businesses that have exponential growth. You always see colleagues who are not able to grow as fast with the business personally as they should grow, right? At one point, you should not have certain discussions or problems anymore. You need to grow as a person, and only then the business can follow as well, I believe.
Just to come to a close with some stuff, I want to ask you, do you we spoke about going to the gym in the morning and stuff like that. Do you have any like morning routines, and do you meditate?
Also, I think I have this entrepreneurship group called Unicorn Society, and so I have a handful selected entrepreneurs who I do not only admire for their business success, moreover of the person they are. Yeah, do it make sense? So
totally.
they have wonderful relationships with their wives, with their kids. They have wonderful health, and most, of course, we always have exceptions here and there. Everybody has sometimes some challenges here and there, and also the finances in order. They also have the work and career in order, but also then we call it contribute and celebrate. So I have those five elements. Contribute means to give something back, and celebrate also enjoy certain milestones. And why do I talk about it? And so we always try out different things, also morning routine. So yes, we did probably everything you can imagine in a morning routine. I personally just like ice baths. I don't know if you know that. Yeah. People who visit me, I have one at home, so everybody ends up to be it at one point. And just also gym in the morning, and having then my power time. So the morning is the time when I'm most efficient. So to schedule a meeting with me in the morning, good luck. Because this is the time for me to...
So what is power time? Is you executing on work goals?
Yeah. So my routine would be then get up early, because I think early...
What time do you wake up?
It depends. I sometimes have 5 a.m. or sometimes I have 7, 6 when I work out with you or Rafa a bit earlier. He comes sometimes late, so but sometimes, so I don't mind to get up at 5 when I can go to bed early. But sometimes, again, like last night, I have to have calls in the US because of the West Coast. They have a totally different time zone than here. Then I'm staying up late, and then also because the sleep is also important for me. But always a gym or with also some kind of meditation, and then later on my power time to get things done. What are the 20% that brings my goals forward 80%, and then in the afternoons I have meetings, podcasts, and other topics.
Do you give yourself like a dedicated time, like 1 hour, half hour, 2 hours? Like do you have? Yeah.
And then of course also in the evening always time for my family. That's very important for me, to them. So yeah.
So you structure your days like this, yeah? Yeah, I like that. I want to ask you, if, God forbid, something went wrong and today's your last day, you have to leave one thing of like an information to your daughter, or like one thing behind that's like that represents everything that you've learned in this lifetime. The most important thing, what would it be? Enjoy
the journey. Just enjoy the journey.
You didn't even think for a second. Not
like a second. No. It's it comes from deep inside. When I spend time at the cancer hospital with my dad, when I spend time with people, so I had to spend time with him. And at this time, my mom, unfortunately, was also sick in the same hospital, but on a different floor. As higher the floor, as worse the people had the diseases. And then I took a room there as well, because I want to spend the Christmas and New Year's there. And so I played chess with people, and one day I played...
You took a room at the hospital?
Yes.
How did you take a room? It's not a hotel. You got... Well, you book a private room or what?
So basically, it was even worse. Okay. Yeah. I wanted to have I wanted to spend Christmas and New Year's with my parents. Unfortunately, they were both in this hospital, and this hospital was just a preparation for death. Basically, was not like anything where they did big treatments as such. So it was just that they had somebody, and I only had and it was in the middle of the woods, and they didn't have rooms around like hotels or something. So I said, look, I want to spend time. Is there a room free? They said, no, there's no room free. So I had to drive far away. Then they said, oh yeah, we have a room free now. I said, okay, that's great. So I took the room. Later I asked, why is it free? The person passed away that night. I couldn't even sleep in the bed. I slept on the floor. Yeah. And then you play chess with people. I remember that, who then 1 week later I heard they passed away. But the moment I played chess with them, it was like it was our last chess game, your last chess game on earth.
Yeah, really, yeah.
And that was when I learned to enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
It was also when we had New Year's Eve of those 50 people who were there.
Yeah.
I don't know who still were able to celebrate next year's New Year's Eve, but we all celebrate, even it was with water. It was like our last New Year's Eve. And I think that's important to understand, that this life has a start and an end.
Yeah.
And in between, it's up to us to enjoy the journey.
You know, some of the stuff you're saying is so profound and emotional when I think about it. But listen, it's been an amazing pleasure having you with us.
Thank you.
I hope the listeners have got some great insights. I have. I think it's been brilliant, and I just want to thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. Thanks.